Okay. So, first things first, that is the longest uh, description or title that I have ever written for one of my videos. But this one, I'm a little bit fired up today. I'm calmer than I was a couple hours ago, but I'm a little bit fired up today. Now, I'm going to do some screen sharing throughout this so that I can show some information so that I can show the proper location because I don't want to show the wrong location. But as the title shows and the description talks about, for a while there, I was donating plasma. Now, donating plasma is not something that you can make a lot of money at, but it helps fill in the gaps when there might maybe be some gaps. Now, this is a big deal for me because I don't like needles. As I've said in my opening bio or opening videos where I've talked about my cerebral palsy, where I walk with a walker. Sorry, I yawned. Um, I don't like needles, but I felt like that this was something I should try, see how it goes, see how I do, see if I freak out, that kind of thing. And I made it through the screening process. They authorized me to where I could donate plasma, and there was no issue. And then I started donating plasma. It takes about, when you do what you're supposed to do the night before, such as drinking water, consuming protein the morning of, just kind of because it makes things go better and they get a better read on stuff. When you do everything you're supposed to, you can be in and out in about in under an hour, whereabouts, maybe a little bit longer, depending on how fast you pump. Now, I will get to the explanation of that shortly, but I'm not there yet. Anyway, so I was able to start donating, had a little bit of extra money coming in, so you'd get $40 the first part of the week when you donated, and if you donated for the second time in the week, you'd get $70. So, it shook out to be a little over $400 a month, which is nice. And like I said, isn't gonna turn you into a millionaire, but just nice little pocket money thing. And I was donating plasma just fine. Things were going great. I did have a couple blowouts with needles, with my arm being uncooperative and things going sideways, but that can happen to anybody that donates plasma. That can happen to anybody. And I'm going to say it again. It can happen to anybody. So it happened to me a few times. Never passed out while I was there, anything like that. Never had anything bad happen while I was donating plasma. Now, fast forward to the last time that I donated, because I hadn't had to do this up till that point. Like I said, I'd donated approximately 15 times. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is 15. I would have to go back to check my profile and see what they say. Anyway, so there's this management person that walks up when I'm doing things. Because you can't take your shoes off, this is going to be the last time that you donate. You have to be able to take your shoes off so that we can get your height and your weight. That hasn't have that never had I have I had to do that up to that point, and it's not going to change things that much. I actually did a little bit of research, and um, so my impression was of the situation, they didn't want someone with a disability donating plasma anymore. That's the impression that I got off of the read of the situation, off of the body language that I was seeing from other people, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of blew it off and I stopped donating. Well, the reason why I was having a shoe issue with that was that I was wearing like street shoes with no tie laces. Whereas I don't know how many people know somebody with cerebral palsy, but sometimes when you've got to get disrobed to a certain extent, you need to have the proper setup or stuff's not going to work right. Well, that's kind of the chairs that they had there. So I kind of blew it off. Well, a couple days ago, now fast forward to present time here and now, uh, I decided to go donate plasma because they had a situation where they were paying a little bit more. So I'm like, yeah, let's go do this. And I wore slippers to donate plasma. I wore like my house slippers that I've seen many a people wear these same kind of shoes in Walmart. So I get myself situated and they have my profile on deferment, which means when you show up there, they've got to do some checking and to see what happened to see if you can donate this time. That's what happened. Figured that was going to happen. He walks up, introduces himself. He was one of the guys that told me no the last time I donated. And I said, look, I got my shoes off. And I had my slippers off, still had my socks on. And he was like, okay, well, we still got to do some stuff, so we're not good yet. I understood that. I get that. Because there was just going to be some stuff. So the first hurdle was is I had to stand to where they could get my height. And I got my heels all the way back against the thing and I got lined up the best I could. Like I said, with my cerebral palsy, standing up straight to where somebody can see my 5'5" doesn't mean I'm not, or excuse me, 5'3" doesn't mean I'm not 5'3". Medically, with my braces on and all that, that's what I am, is 5'3". So I do that. He's like, well, okay, well, we've got some other things we've got to do. Now, there is an elevator in this place to get you to go up and down because you got the check-in spot on one floor, then you got the donation spot on the lower level. Um, and he's concerned that if the elevator's not going to work, then I'm not going to be able to get up and down the stairs. Well, I got up and down the stairs without his assistance. I had my walker up against me the whole time. I was holding onto the railing and I just kind of bounced, slashed one step at a time all the way down to where I needed to be. And the whole way down, it was kind of funny because um, he didn't like what was going on. It wasn't going against any of his rules, but he didn't like what was going on. So he kept saying that I don't like this. I don't like, but it's not breaking any of his rules. And I was unassisted. I just let him stand there to make himself feel better because he didn't like what was going on. Like I said, there's no rules that were being broken. So I make it down the stairs. So I make it to where the donation is done. And then you got to get into your chair, into the donating chair unassisted. I did that just fine. Now, he wants me to be able to go back up the stairs, because he says you might be tired after you donate, and if the elevator's not working, you won't be able to get up and you'll be stuck. So I made it up the 2 flights of stairs just fine. No problems, no speed bumps, no nothing. So fast forward to today specifically, and this is where I'm going to start uh, posting information in the comments and stuff. And anybody that reads this, I hope you plaster this all over. I get a call from the gentleman that he called it doing an evaluation. He was the guy that evaluated me to see if I could do what they thought I needed to do, which I did. I did just fine. And he said that I still wasn't going to be able to donate. Now, anybody that donates can have your donating thing kind of blow out once in a while, where things go sideways, and for lack of an IV, for lack of a better term, your IV goes kaboom. That can happen to anybody. Now, with that being said, they said that it was going to happen too much with me with my muscle twitchiness or my muscle spasticity with cerebral palsy. So, because of that, they are not going to let me donate anymore unless I can get a doctor note that has said that uh, my muscle spasms or random muscle movements have stopped. Now, with that being said, this, oops, let me close this, is the place. Is it not? Okay, there it goes. Boy, it loaded kind of funny. That's all right. Well, that's not going to show right. Okay, so we're going to go this way. Close that. I'm going to share again. Places to donate plasma in Lincoln, Nebraska. Make There we go. Let's see if this works now. Still got my live stream going. So we're going to see. I want to see what that looks like over here. Okay, there we go. Now things loaded right. And while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to sign in on something to make sure that things are going the way they're supposed to. Hang on for just a second. All right. Now, everything is looking the way it's supposed to. This is great. So, this is the name, place, and all that as to where I was donating plasma. Now, you can see plasma donation requirement donor checklist. I had all of this. And I was in good health because I had a physical done. And being in having cerebral palsy doesn't preclude you from having bad health. So I met all these requirements, had everything that I was supposed to, and I even showed up with it again when I showed up a couple days ago because I figured that they were going to need I was basically going to start my profile over from scratch. Uh, that was not the case. But like I said, I was able to do everything that the person doing the evaluation, he called it an evaluation, but I think they were just trying to throw things in front of me so that they could say I failed. And then they said, see, you can't donate. And then since that didn't happen, they had to come up with the stuff that um, I can't get around. I've dealt with the muscle spasticity or random muscle movements all my life with any IV that I've ever done for hospitals and all. And you know, all they had to do was tape it down. That's all they had to do. Anytime they had to stick me, if it had to be there for a while, they taped it down to where it didn't move. That's it. That's all I had to do. So the reason why I'm posting the name and all that, and there's the contact info, is that if you've got a disability, here's a news flash here, you are not welcome at this organization to donate plasma. Now, the able-bodied gooberhead that I talked to on the phone today says that they have clients that have disabilities, but you know what? And all the time that I've donated, I've never seen anybody in there with a walker or anything like that where they may have to have an assistive device. So I think he was trying to say that uh, something that is treatable is a disability. Or he was trying to come up with some kind of crutch, and I wasn't going to let it fly. But if you are in Lincoln, Nebraska, and care about things being fair and just for everybody, because I jumped through every hoop that guy threw in front of me and I made it just fine. Don't donate here. I'm asking you as a favor to myself, or favor from me to this place that burned me. Don't donate here. I'm asking straight up. Don't. Please. Because all I was trying to do was make a little bit of extra money. And these guys tried to say because of my disability, I wasn't good enough. Even though I did exactly everything that they needed me to do, there was no problem there. And even on the physical things, it was done unassisted. So I want just everybody to think about that for a minute. And after I get off of my soapbox for this, I am going to get on my soapbox and talk about some Pokemon card stuff, because that's really what I do this for, or what I'd like to do this for, is because I would like to become just a full-time streamer. And since doing a job market thing is so tough, it's just like you can only do what you can do. And I'm plugging away as hard as I can. And these guys said no because of my disability. I mean, you can even see the checklist of the things that you have to donate. I'm in good health. I'm of the age of 18. I'm comfortably over 110 pounds. Uh, I have a photo ID. I have a social security card. I have all of that. Like I said, even when you have a disability, doesn't mean you're in poor health. So I've met their whole list right there on their homepage, and they wouldn't let me donate. And people wonder why that sometimes disabled people have attitude problem because we've got a chip on our shoulder. I mean, that's right there. Something simple. It's not hard to donate. In fact, I think people should donate. Just don't. I'm asking you, don't donate here. Donate at the other one, the one that starts with a K that I can't pronounce. Uh, they've just you probably even get paid better over there anyway. Uh, but I'm asking if you could please just don't donate here. What I'm trying to have happen here is I'm trying to force the hand of the person in charge there. I want them to talk to me on the phone. I don't want an underling. I want to talk to them. That was one of the funny things that happened with the guy that I talked with on the phone. What he said specifically was is that the the lady in charge makes more money than he does, and she won't be calling me back. So, in my eyes, honestly, that whoever she is, that makes her a coward. Because all I want is clarification and her to speak to me as a person and say the real reason why she doesn't want me. Because the blowout thing that they came at me with, that can happen to any human that donates. That can happen to anybody. But they tried to use it as an excuse, and that's what they're using it as, is an excuse. And anyway, with that, I'm gonna stop the screen sharing, and we're gonna show some Pokemon. Oh, I've got actually something else I'm gonna open before actually, I'm gonna stop this stream, start another one, and then we'll do a Pokemon one, and then I will mention this stream after the fact. But anyway, this is what I dealt with today that I've been dealing with for a while because of my cerebral palsy. They will not let me donate because of my cerebral palsy. Straight up, that's why they may not agree with that statement, but nobody will talk to me face to. They just keep saying that's not. They call it a safety concern, but everybody has blowouts. Everybody's blood pressure can go to junk when you're doing that. Mine hasn't. I haven't passed out in the chair, anything like that. Anyway, thank you for your time from Disabled Soapbox. I will call that part 1 today. I'll do part 2 here in a little bit, but I'm going to get something to drink. So thank you for your time. And I'm asking for anybody in the area, please don't donate here. I will get back on another stream here in a little bit.